correlation. That's so kind of you, and I live to disappoint.
Oh, so, well, please. Well, there's a place to disappoint everyone. It's right here on Attack of the Show. Speaking of disappointment, let's talk about PlayStation Network. People aren't able to game. I mean, this is that at its core, that is the major issue right now. Like, are there any warning signs that we should be looking out for? Gamers going through withdrawal? Is there a foaming at the mouth, redness of the eyes?
It really is at an unfortunate time period. I think Portal 2 really typifies that. I mean, last year at E3, Gabe Newell walked out on stage, eating crow himself and saying that actually, no, there are things that the PlayStation Network and the PS3 will do well with us. It had the interconnectivity with Steam. And now no one's really
it's got nothing. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It took Sony 5 days to announce that there was a break-in, and I took a major issue with that because we knew something was going on. They pulled the plug. Clearly there was an issue, and they had said, what, that they weren't sure the extent of the break-in, so they didn't want to make an announcement?
I mean, they first needed to ascertain what had happened. They said that they discovered it had happened somewhere from the 15th to the 17th of April. The 19th is when they made the discovery. We were not until, I think, around the 26th to actually get the formal announcement. I think this is a case study of how you don't handle these consumer relations, these things happen. A lot of companies get broken into, but it was the waiting and not making any comment and letting the internet do all your messaging for you. It really works against them, and I think it had something to do with Sony being an old Japanese company, and you see this precedent with Toyota, with Pepco, of not messaging out to people, even though it's probably going to work in your best interest.
But they did bow.
Oh,
that has to give them that.
That was contrition on a level I rarely get to see.
Sony held a press conference where they apologized. They bowed quite a bit, and they refused an invitation to testify before the U.S. Congress about data security. They offered to answer questions that were submitted in writing, which was interesting, but is that enough at this point?
I think so. I think they're trying not to let this become too big and really sort of cloud them. I mean, I would have to say that even the mainstream press seems to have been kind of covering this as if there's a new novelty factor because it's involving a game company. I was thinking, and I might be wrong on this, but I think there was an incident with the Department of Health and Human Services where some dude actually took home data with people's social security numbers on it and then lost it. I mean, that to me is a greater violation of a sense of trust because that's human idiocy. People get hacked. That's what the internet is allowing.
But and to get back to that point, do you think because they delayed and maybe if they didn't know the extent of the hack, they could have come out and said, hey, look, there might have been a security breach. We're analyzing it. But the fact that they were silent and let that internet just get in their rumor circles and just escalate everything, that was really the main issue.
I think the sticking the heads in the sand approach just really worked against them, especially because they were a game company and they have a user base. Their most vocal user base is, of the internet youth, which tend to just take things very, very seriously far too quickly.
Yeah. What kind of make goods is Sony actually offering its users? Because I received an email and it said, hey, look, if you want to check your credit report to make sure you're not completely screwed, here are some websites. But that's all I really saw.
I believe they have talked to all three of the major credit reporting agencies and used their own money to say, like, hey, these are the numbers, these are flagged, so that they're already prepped to know that if something funny happens, so nothing has been reported. People will get either a free PSN Plus or an account for a month. There'll be some games. I think for the Curiosity users, there'll be some free music. There's nothing that specific. There are some make goods, but I think it's just going to be sort of a long road for that easy forgetting that the internet is so good at to actually take place. It's unfortunate because this is such a good year for Sony.
I was just going to say, could this be the most inopportune time for this to happen? This is the strongest year. We're leading up into E3. Is this going to be the talk of the convention, or will people have forgiven by that?
I think E3 is going to be the panacea that's finally going to get their messaging back on track. I mean, they do have an amazing lineup of exclusive games. It's definitely going to overshadow, I think, what Microsoft's going to be offering, since we know of all the one game that's coming out right there.
Exclusive game.
Nintendo will have a new console, but Sony looks really strong right now.
Speaking of Nintendo and Microsoft, because hacks happen, we know this. Should we trust their networks more? Should we believe that Microsoft, because Xbox Live's been around longer, it's more secure?
Yeah, I've been asking myself this too, because Microsoft as a brand seems to be more attractive to a hack than Sony does. And as far as we know, nothing on this level definitely has ever happened. You are paying for Xbox Live, and that does probably help subsidize some of that protection. And it's Microsoft. They have decades more of experience in dealing with network security.
So if you're one of those 77 million PSN users or the 25 million or so that are playing EverQuest, in DCU on the PC, what can you do to protect yourself?
I mean, I don't think there's anything more unique here than what you typically hear with all these people saying, you need to be secure. I think not using a credit card as some alternate form of payment, or having one particular credit card with a low limit on it that is solely used for purchases or accounts like this is probably the best thing that you can do. But like I said, this is the era of the internet, and it's always going to carry that risk.
I mean, I guess if anything, you could just make sure you use the same password for everything, so that way you don't forget it if you need to log in and make a change to a credit card.
I like to have a consecutive string of numbers.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. That works really well.
Or QWERTY is also really nice. You just tap dance along the top row of the keyboard, QWERTY.
I never realized you could pronounce that. That's so cool. Thanks, Kevin.
Adam Sessler. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much, Adam, for keeping us in the loop. Now, we go over to Miss Chen.